Fucking good riddance, you.
Let's see what else you got for me. Oh. Hello, Mr. Mannequin Man. Is that Fester's Quest on the NES?
Oh, dude, my favorite. I love this game.
Fucking Mr. Mannequin Man, give me fucking games. Turn that shit.
Okay, let's get this over with. Fester's Quest was a game released in 1989 for the NES, developed by Sunsoft, who you may know for making a much better game known as Blaster Master. Now, if you don't know, Fester's Quest is based off of the Addams Family series from the 60s. Pretty sure it's the 60s because the movie and the cartoons, they didn't come out till the 90s, so I'm guessing it's based on that. I don't really have a huge opinion on the Addams Family because I never really watched the show, the cartoon, or any of the movies. Probably should. The Addams Family has had their fair share of video games on the NES and the Super Nintendo. Most of them are pretty bad, as you can probably guess. The most infamous one is probably this game, with its many issues it has. So how about we find out why it's so infamous together, as a family. As for most NES games, the story is very simple. Uncle Fester is just chilling outside in his backyard when suddenly aliens invade. So you know what that means? No, not that, please. Anything but that. Okay, well, Fester does use a gun, but it's less edgy this time. The gameplay is a top-down shooter similar to those sections in Blaster Master when you enter into those caves. But if you expect to be fun like Blaster Master, well, you're in the wrong place. So, starting off, Uncle Fester is only equipped with a gun that shoots green slime. The first enemy you see are these purple blobs that take forever to kill. You'll eventually come across other weird shit like orange frogs, blue frogs, green frogs, pink frogs, a head, these things that look like octo brains from Duke Nukem, slimes, snails, and these fucking dumb, stupid pieces of shit. The enemies range from a small nuisance to unbelievably irritating. The main issue with the enemies is that they constantly respawn right after you kill them. I know there are a lot of NES games that also have this issue, but here, holy shit, it's so damn annoying. With some of the weaker enemies, it's doable, but the enemies with a crap load of health make it a huge issue. You're better off just running through the enemies and just taking damage so you don't have to deal with it. Well, I would say that would be a good option, but there is one issue. Look at Fester's health. Only 2 hits. Yeah, another well-known thing about this game, besides the extreme difficulty, is that you only have 2 hit points. So early on, if you're struggling with the constantly respawning enemies and other annoyances I've yet to explain, you're going to have a pretty bad time. But it's not the end of the world because you can actually get upgrades to your health. Twice. You can get an extra hit point early on in this house, which shows off a pretty cool 3D segment. Well, cool for 1989 at least. Bumping into this dead end will give you another bar of health. The second hit point I never got because it's at the end of the game and, well, I'll get to that soon. As you've probably noticed by now, every time you kill an enemy, they drop very useful items. The most useful ones are these blocks that say gun and whip. These are power-ups. Yes, you can power up your weapons, which is pretty neat. You need to make sure you pick up the power-ups with blue text because the ones with the red text downgrade your weapon, which is way more annoying than it needs to be. Mainly because every single upgrade for the gun sucks balls. Sure, it does more damage, but look at the patterns. How the hell am I supposed to hit anything with this? You constantly have to back up and shoot things because the damn projectiles always circle around your target. But that's not the worst part. Your projectiles stop when they hit any surface and disappear. This is fucking garbage, especially during the sewer segments with narrow hallways, so good luck trying to kill anything without being in the enemy's face. So in order to avoid this bullshit, run back and forth killing the dumb blobby enemies at the start of the game and grind until you get a fully upgraded gun. This one will actually shoot straight so you don't have to worry about the dumb walls. Then for the love of Christopher Lloyd on a stick, avoid those damn gun downgrades. They will be the bane of your existence. They spawn all the damn time after killing an enemy, and you're guaranteed to accidentally run into one. So that means you're stuck with a weapon that is useless in closed quarters. So have fun sitting in one spot grinding on these dumbass slimes to get your upgrades back, which will take an ungodly amount of time. Oh yeah, before I forget, you can also get a whip after the first boss fight, which acts very similar to Simon Belmont's whip in Castlevania. Fully upgraded, this thing is amazing and kills enemies in a few hits. Yeah, even with a fully upgraded gun, some of the enemies took way too long to kill, but with this whip, anything is easy pickings. The only problem I have with the whip is that you can pick up items with it, meaning that if you spam it on a bunch of constantly respawning enemies that you have no choice but to spam the hell out of your weapon, you're going to pick up weapon downgrades, and it fucking sucks. Cause then you have to sit your ass down and grind for fucking ever to get your shit back, and it's tedious as fuck and I hate doing it. It's so annoying and I keep running into them. Jeez. We interrupt this review to bring you some important messages. During the writing of this video, your host Brian was so enraged due to how stressed and pissed off Fester's Quest made him, so he forgot to add a couple of things in. So I'm here to fill you in on the details. Firing your weapon has you constantly mashing the B button. If you don't have a turbo controller, or if you're someone like Brian who plays on a third-party console, you're going to have some serious carpal tunnel. If enemies do happen to drop those pesky gun downgrades, just sit in place for a little bit until it despawns. You might get stuck occasionally because of this, so just be patient until it goes away. Last thing to bring up is the wondrous European version of this game, which changes quite a bit from the North American version. The main draw is that the guns are a lot more powerful, and your bullets don't disappear when they collide with a wall, meaning that pretty much every issue while fighting enemies are completely resolved here. That's all for today. We now bring you back to a regularly scheduled game review. Okay, calm down. I got a little too overboard with the weapon upgrades. Ugh. Enemies also drop other useful things like money, light bulbs, and keys. If you pause the game, you're shown a menu of the many different items you can obtain and use with the A button. Most of the items are given to you by your family members inside of houses you need to open up with a key. I found most of the items to be extremely useful when dealing with these dumbass enemies. The TNT is great for dropping behind you when an enemy chases you down. The potions are great for sustaining damage. The missiles can shred bosses. The vice grip helps restore movement speed. I still want to know how Uncle Fester uses a vice grip to help restore his movement speed. Yeah, I don't think I want to think about that. And then there's a noose, which I never found, so I have no idea what it does. The money you obtain I only found use with these hot dog stands. Spending $5 will restore your health completely, so you don't have to waste potions. Lastly, there are light bulbs, which are used to light up the sewers. How does Fester use a single light bulb to light up a whole sewer, you may ask? Well, he screws it into his mouth, of course.
And I can still make it blink, too.
I did mention bosses, and well, there are bosses alright. The first boss is pretty easy once you figure out the pattern. Just stand in between his arms and move slightly to the right to avoid his attacks. He takes forever to kill, even with a fully upgraded weapon. The second boss is this bipedal triceratops wearing a Speedo holding 2 whips. The fuck? He's not too hard either, just walk back and forth constantly and hit him with the whip when you get an opening. Don't use the gun in this fight or you'll be here forever. The third boss is this Viking with a lightning sword. I don't have a real strategy except for spamming the missiles and whip occasionally. The fourth boss is a turtle with a gun who acts like the Viking, except there's no tell when he's going to shoot his gun and constantly moves around, so it's hard to dodge the projectiles. And guess what? I died. Guess I should explain what happens when you die. After you die, you can continue from the very start of the game. You do keep your upgrades and items, which is nice, and you do have infinite continues, but walking all the way back to where you were fucking sucks ass. Uncle Fester moves so damn slow, so it's going to take forever to walk back. Not to mention that while walking back, you could accidentally run into fucking downgrades, so you have to waste more time grinding to get your gun upgraded again. And then you run into another gun downgrade after grinding for 10 minutes, and then you have to waste more fucking time. Why the hell do I have to go all the way back to the start of the game after every game over? The only reason I can muster up is that you're able to restock on the items you may have used, like potions and such, or if you missed an item initially, which I did. But after you kill a boss, all of your items and health are refilled, so why not just give me a checkpoint? I'd much rather have limited continues and start right after each boss step with all of my stuff. It would make my time playing way less aggravating, and at least give me the option to walk back, because after you beat a boss you can't walk back to where you were. I could just grab the item again, it's not a big deal, come on. And guess what? I died again to this fucking thing. You know what? Forget it. I'm done. Yeah, I'm not beating this game. I didn't record any of it, but I died like 4 times just trying to get back to this boss. And those dumb downgrades didn't help either. So yeah, sorry to say, but I didn't finish this game. I could have used an emulator and abused save states, but screw it. I lost my patience with this trash. Well, I guess on a more positive note, the game looks okay, and the music is fucking kick-ass. Even the title screen that plays the Addams Family theme goes along with the beat of the music. Yeah, that's all I have for positives, to be honest. The game could have been decent, but is sadly plagued with very terrible design choices, constantly respawning enemies, constant weapon downgrades, constant deaths, and starting back from the beginning after every death all play a factor into why this game sucks ass and is frustrating to play. The game's relatively cheap, so if for some dumb reason you want to try it out for yourself, you won't lose out on much. But honestly, I recommend you play Blaster Master instead, because it's way better and way less aggravating.
Take your fucking game back. Fuck you, mannequin.